So for more than a decade now, he's enjoyed a successful dual-track career as a clean stand-up comedian and climbing the corporate ladder in the business world. He's combined what he's learned in both of those arenas and published his very first book to help you nail your next job interview. Danny Johnson is the author of You Stink and They Know It. What a title. It is a practical guide to nailing your job interview, and he is here with us in studio to help us out. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, we like the title. That is cool.
Yeah, you have to say it with like an attitude. You stink.
And they know it.
Oh, and they know it.
So if you stink and they know it, what do you do? Where do you start?
So the title really comes from people's nervousness around interviews. In my corporate world experience, I've interviewed hundreds of candidates. I've written interview questions, and every candidate that I began to mentor through this process was terrified. Some people were so terrified they avoided interviews altogether and then complained later on in their career they had no opportunity, right? Because they have that self-doubt that, you know, I stink, I'm not good enough, and they are if they sit down and focus and put together, you know, what their qualifications are and how can they apply them.
So what do you help people out with in this book and also people that you're mentoring?
Sure. So I start with the basics. You know, first impressions are key. Obviously, you wouldn't wear jeans to an interview, but you'd be amazed at some of the things that people wear to interviews. You want to be clean, pressed. They say, studies have shown that an impression's made of you within 15 to 20 seconds. So they're almost determining whether they're going to hire you
by what they see when you first come there.
Absolutely. You made impressions about me when we first met. You probably said, hey, this guy, Brad Pitt, stunt double, or something.
Exactly.
But, you know, first impressions are key. You want to look presentable and put, you know, and then so it's visual and verbal, too. So how do you hold yourself? How do you speak? And that. So
once you've gotten over that, you look good, you're in there, you have that confidence, you actually have to do the interview. What are the biggest mistakes that you see people make?
Yeah, the biggest mistakes are twofold. One is not knowing about the company or the position. So for a couple of years ago, I interviewed for a mortgage position at a company. I had no mortgage experience, but I had the leadership experience that they were looking for. So I did some research online, identified some industry trends and whatnot, and because of that I was able to engage in conversation around, hey, the regulations are for mortgage. It broke the ice and I got the position. So do your research. The second biggest mistake is focusing on your experience and not your skill set. So you can have 10 years customer service or sales experience, but what makes you a good salesperson?
What can you do?
I have 20 years experience playing baseball, but I'm not going to be the next shortstop for the Yankees, right? But what did it teach me? So focus on your skills and not your experience.
And this is one I saw that was interesting. Turn the tables on them and interview them. What do you mean by that?
Sure. I think it's critical that you have questions for them at the end, right? Because it shows interest in the position. It shows that you're confident that you're a good fit for them, but is this company or department a good fit for you? So you can ask questions like, you know, what does success look like? How am I measured? What are your biggest issues right now? How do you see this role, you know, helping those?
Yeah, and I know a lot of companies are doing like Skype or phone interviews, that kind of thing, before you maybe meet them face to face. Do you approach those interviews differently than you would?
Yeah,
you know, face-to-face interview?
Absolutely. You can apply the same principles in the book for both interviews, but for phone, there's two very simple things you should do on a phone interview to come across better. One is to stand. When you're doing a phone interview, stand. You tend to project more, you tend to sound more confident. And two is to dress like you're going to a regular interview. You'll feel better and sound better if you're not in your SpongeBob
laid out on the couch.
Right.
Like, I'm good. Hire me.
It comes casual, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, thank you so much for sharing this. And you're also going to be doing some work on the comedian side.
Yes, I'll be at Latitude 360 this Friday and Saturday, 4 shows. And then my book is on Amazon or my website, DannyJohnson.com.
All right, cool. Thanks, Danny, for being here.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. Of course, you can buy his book, as he said, on Amazon through his website, and we posted the link to that on NewsForJax.com under the Morning Show tab. Nikki?
I knew I recognized him as Brad Pitt's stunt double. I knew it. I was sure of it. Okay.